For Make It Fair, my name is Harmon Dash. It is Wednesday, August 16, 2017. Here's a timeline of explosive events that began 5 days ago. Friday, August 11th, a large contingency of white nationalists ascend onto the town of Charlottesville, Virginia, for a weekend they call Unite the Right in protest over the removal of a monument to Confederate Robert E. Lee. That night, they marched through the University of Virginia campus, carrying lit torches, guns, and other weapons, while displaying images of swastikas and the Confederate flag. They perform the Nazi salute and chant phrases such as "blood and soil," "white lives matter," "you will not replace us," and "Jews will not replace us." While the hate being expressed is palpable, Unite the Right is allowed to proceed with their march of antagonism, instigation, and intimidation. Saturday, August 12th, on day 2 of Unite the Right, counter-protesters arrived to confront the white nationalists. Tempers intensify and the volatility erupts past the boiling point when 20-year-old James Alex Fields drives his vehicle directly into the counter-protesters, killing 32-year-old Heather Heyer, wounding 19 others. In the aftermath of the moment, President Donald Trump denounces bigotry on, quote, many sides, leaving his condemnation so ambiguous. White nationalists pounce on the idea that perhaps the president was denouncing the counter-protesters and not the sentiment of white supremacy that brought Unite the Right to Charlottesville in the first place. Sunday, August 13th, the White House communications staff put out a press release with the assurance that, of course, the president, a man who has never had trouble directing and expressing specific negativity towards anyone or anything, was denouncing the white supremacists, neo-Nazis, and the KKK in his generalized condemnation of those on many sides. The language of the press release insinuates that we, the outraged American people, should have been able to deduce this from the president's words, even though he didn't actually say them. Monday, August 14th, a full 48 hours after the tragedy in Charlottesville, and like a petulant child being forced by his parents to apologize for something he's not sorry for, Trump gives prepared remarks where denouncement of these white nationalist groups finally comes out of his mouth, though as my associate Deb Woods perfectly put it, quote, Trump's speech about Charlottesville had all the authenticity of a hostage video. Before and after this press conference, Trump rages on Twitter, retweeting messages of conspiracy theorists and cartoon images of a Trump train running over CNN. Tuesday, August 15th, Trump gives a press conference originally slated to be about his executive order on infrastructure, in which he undoes his late denouncement of white nationalists, doubling down on his original many sides remark, this time by saying the blame for Charlottesville lie with, quote, both sides, and that both sides also included, quote, some very fine people. Perhaps it's just me, but while the white nationalists in Charlottesville for Unite the Right might hold varying degrees of white supremacist sentiments in their hearts, it should be impossible for any decent human being to find those with any degree of white nationalist leanings as fine people. But not this president. Not the man who continually breathed life into the birther movement, questioning whether our 44th president, Barack Obama, was himself an American. Not this man who announced his candidacy for president by painting Mexicans as criminals, drug dealers, and rapists, with a stroke much broader, far wider than reality will tell you. Not this man who stirred anti-immigrant sentiments of all kinds to a base of people eager to forget, other than Native Americans who were willing to share this land but were plundered when our forefathers took it from them. All Americans descended from immigrants. Not this man who rode his way into the White House by wittingly or unwittingly accepting assistance from a hostile foreign government, looking to sow the seeds of chaos in America, though more and more evidence is suggesting it was the former, not the latter. Not this man who has attacked the First Amendment with such fervor, he appears more like a dictator rather than the leader of a constitutional democracy. Not this man who has continually praised dictators around the world for their ability to control citizens with an iron fist, not by checks and balances or representative democracy. Not this man who regularly criticizes without thinking twice, using the tactics of a bully to go after those in his crosshairs, but continues to throw a soft hand to Nazis and Confederates, two groups who were both long ago deemed by this country as un-American. And not this man who, no matter how limp or full-throated a denouncement he could possibly offer, can't escape that his campaign harnessed the energy of the white nationalist movement, associating with avowed members of that movement on his way into the White House, and continues to have white nationalists working at every level of his administration. Hello, Steve Bannon, Sebastian and Catherine Gorka, Stephen Miller, even Jeff Sessions for that matter, to name a few. No, this man, Donald Trump, is the antithesis of everything we call American values. He is incapable of carrying out the duties of the president, and it is time to invoke the 25th Amendment, the lawful removal of a president who has proven he is not fit to lead. I do not say that lightly. The removal of Donald Trump from the White House will not fix everything and will not make America all better. But we cannot even begin to address what's making this country sick until we rid ourselves of the cancer that is President Donald J. Trump. He must be removed from office now.